This is Tim with Death by Metal MMB, and I'm talking to...
This is Schmier from Destruction.
Awesome, definitely. Well, let's talk about the new album. How has that been, and how's the response been?
I mean, it's an exciting new album for us because we had some lineup changes, and so we were all eager to hear what the first journalists have to say, and the reaction's been really, really good. I think I don't remember the last time we had such great reactions from the press and also from the fans, because we have released the first two songs already as the digital single for streaming and download, and also we've done a couple of videos already that are out. So yeah, reactions and the excitement for the album is crazy. It's actually amazing.
It's cool. I want to ask you some questions, obviously about the new album. But of all the albums that you have done, what is your favorite that you've created?
I think it's very difficult because every album is like a baby, you know. So when you have 10 kids, you have to ask the father which one is your favorite kid. You know, it's going to be difficult. I think so. We have made 17 kids and some live albums, and actually, like I really like the live album, the first live album we did, the Live Without Fans, in '89, and every album is different, you know, because it has some memories, it has maybe lineup changes or the restart of the band, and I think the first album will always be very special because we were young kids when we started. Then the comeback albums in '99 and in the year 2001 are also very special because when Destruction came back after a break with me. And now this album is also very special because we have had a major lineup change and we're back with two guitars. So
right.
I think those are the benchmarks for me in Destruction history.
Doing this new album, Born to Perish, whenever you create an album, is it a single-minded thing? Are you the one that creates all of it, or is it a joint collective with all the band?
I mean, I'm a singer, and so I take care about a lot of stuff. Like I'm writing riffs, I'm writing melodies, I'm writing the lyrics. But Mike, my guitar player, he's also in the game. He's basically writing all the songs with me. We're arranging together and we're changing ideas. And this time, our new drummer Randy also brought in some drum patterns, some beats. He kind of sent us some stuff, so we used the drum patterns for some ideas. And it's between Mike and me, but everybody can contribute. You know, also the guitar player down here, he had a lot of little licks and little ideas, little melodies. You know, we tried in the studio. So everybody is putting some stuff in, but of course the main songwriting is between Mike and me.
Right, definitely. As far as the album cover, who creates the art?
We have a very trustful artist who worked for many years now. He's from Hungary, and it's a very weird name. I don't know how you say this in English, but his name is G Epsilon ULA. It's like Jula, you say that.
Right.
And it's he's a metalhead, but he's also a fantastic artist, and he's working for many years with us. And when I have an idea, I tell him. Sometimes I'm doing like a little draft myself, and I send him my little drafts, and then he starts, with his paintings or whatever we do. This time we had the idea that we wanted to do a patch, like an emblem kind of thing.
Right.
That is very easy to look at. That people, that looks like a kind of a call of arms for a country or for a military or something. We wanted to have something that is different this time. We had a lot of 3D colors, a lot of colors in the last year. And this time I think we have a very dark and evil album, and we want to have something that is fits a little better with this. And he understood the idea right away. I wasn't sure if he would get it, but the cover was also done really quickly. I think this maybe was the quickest cover art we did in many years. We just had a couple of weeks and everything was done. Normally it's back and forth over a long time until everything is the way you want it. But this time it worked really quick.
As far as the whole discography, what you've done in your lifetime, what's your favorite song to play live?
I think there's a couple of them that I really enjoy, and they never get old and they never get boring. It's like sometimes people ask me, like, "Aren't you bored of playing Backdoor Invasion or Mad Butcher live?" But no, it's still great fun because the songs are part of my life and part of my history, and the songs are kind of they're part of me. When I play, express myself, it's fun to play them, and I think the favorite one of them all is Curse of God. So maybe my favorite because it's just a song I can handle easily, and it has all the trademarks of the band, and I still enjoy it after all those years. I think it's one of the best Destruction songs we ever wrote.
I still have my Mad Butcher shirt that I bought when I was a kid, and I saw you here in St. Louis at a very shitty little club, and
I remember the show. I remember it was like very packed and very tiny.
Yes,
very tight and sweaty show. I remember that.
And that's the first that it was an EP that you brought or it was out, it came out and it had Curse the Gods and it had some, I don't know if it had some live stuff on it, but it was just Mad Butcher. And that's what I had posters of it. I had all sorts of stuff and you're one of my favorite bands. And the thing I've always wanted to ask, and I know I interviewed you before and I went over the questions. I didn't really ask you these questions, but being in a band of your stature and you've been out for so long and you started the same time with, maybe a little bit after Metallica and Slayer and all these other bands. Do you ever have a chance to run into them? Did you ever play with them? Did you ever share the stage with the bands?
We've been in a lot of those bands that started around the same time. Metallica was actually the first one. I think the only band that was before Metallica was Exciter from Canada. They were even earlier than the first Metallica album. But yeah, we've actually played with Slayer on the Hello Waits tour already here in Europe. So we had several festivals together and stuff. So I met Slayer before many times. Metallica is actually a band that I met in the 80s when Jason Newsted was in the band. Because Jason Newsted used to be a big Destruction fan, so
right.
we kind of exchanged some T-shirts and stuff. But we never played with Metallica, and they also didn't play any of the festivals in the last years because they don't do festivals, So, and I kind of lost interest actually also in Metallica many years ago after they turned away from thrash. It's not really kind of my music anymore. But
no.
Back in the day, I saw Metallica on the first tour, the first time they came over here to Europe. It was supporting Venom, and it was in 1982 or 83. I think 83 it was. And I was in the front row at that show. And Metallica blew Venom off stage at that time. It was fantastic.
And that's the thing about it is that I don't know, to be in your shoes and to see what you've seen the history of thrash metal evolve. It's gone through a lot of ups and downs over the years. Since I was a kid, and you don't have the record stores here in the States like you used to have, and I'm sure they were in Europe just as well as they were in the States. And I found your record because it looked cool. I didn't know I had no idea what the fuck you sounded like. I had no clue who the fuck you were. I just saw the picture of three dudes and I'm just like, man, these guys look like they're going to kill somebody. I'm going to buy this. And so it's weird. What are your thoughts on, again, bands of that nature? I mean, you stay true to the art of thrash metal, and you've always been, even whatever project you've been in. And a lot of these bands like Slayer and even Creator and Sodom and whatever, they stay true to their element. Metallica broke off. Megadeth, I don't know if I guess they kind of broke off. to make more money. And it just seems like it's just a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's not music anymore. And is that hurting? My question is that hurting the industry? That's what's killing it.
I don't know. I mean, those bands decided to be not thrash bands anymore, and they made a lot of money. Of course, that's I guess that was more important to them to reach a major audience, to write some ballads, to make more money. I don't know if it really makes you happy. If I look at the albums that came after those bands turned big, I have to say I liked them better when they were young and hungry and no millionaires.
Yeah.
I think for thrash metal, it's good to be hungry and still stay aggressive. If you go and shop with Gucci with your wife at Gucci every day, and if you live in a big house and you drive a Porsche, you can't ride thrash anymore. You have to be pissed off to ride thrash.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the other bands from the first waves, like Creator and Silent and Destruction, we stayed hungry because we never got that famous and still kept in the scene. So we still enjoy what we do. I mean, I'm sure, I saw the Metallica movie, Some Kind of Monster, and it was scary to see the band that has made so much money and it's basically the most famous heavy metal band in the world, to see them in such desperate position, like, wow, you have reached all this, and then you need a psychologist to talk between each other. That's something. Luckily we never had. I mean, we had our fights in the past and stuff, but we got all sorted, and we still love what we do. I mean, for me, thrash metal is more than just music. It's a way of life. It became my way of life, and I'm happy. That I still can do this. It's a big gift for me.
It is Destruction. Like I said before, every album you've put out is phenomenal. It sounds good, and it just, I don't know. You've stayed true to what you've been, and I think, like I said before, I think the quality of music, what you put out, you are, and Destruction always will be one of the biggest thrash metal bands on the planet, and there's nothing that anybody could say or whatever. And to put out Born to Perish is another phenomenal album. It's something that it shows the longevity of who you are and what the band means, because it just keeps rolling like a machine. That's how many albums is it so far? Was it?
I think this is like studio albums we recorded in the studio is number 17, I think.
What do you ever sit down and think, that obviously you're going to continue doing this, but how far you can go?
I mean, sometimes, you think about how long can I do this? And, it's also a big change in the music industry. So everybody has certain fears of the future when you're in a business like this. It changes so rapidly. Physical sales are down. Everybody's streaming. And of course, the streaming is not paid very well for the musician at the end. And everybody wants to make money live now, so everybody has to tour. So there's a big change in the music industry. Of course, you have certain fears. How long will the band survive this? But on the other hand, of course, we're doing this for so long that that we had, of course, a lot of ups and downs and those questions before. And we've been through all the trends that came and went away again. So I think as long as you believe in what you do, and as long as you release strong albums like the new one, I shouldn't worry about the future of Destruction. But I'm more worried about the world. Actually, the world we live in is a fucked up place at the moment.
Absolutely. What? When are you going to be able to? Are you ever going to do a massive U.S. tour? Do you think you're going to do it again, or?
I mean, we're coming to the States every 2-3 years. We did a tour for the last album. We did 4 weeks, and with a lot of good shows. The problem about America is the country is so big that you cannot play everywhere. Even if you tour for 2 months, You didn't play every city that is important. There's too many major cities, too many big cities.
Right.
So we have the philosophy normally we come over. We don't tour longer than 4 or 5 weeks because it kind of burns you out. You want to give a good show every night. After 5, 6 weeks, it's over. You can't do it no more because the body needs a break. So we usually do like a 5 weeks tour, and we're gonna be back in the States in spring. Actually, I think before spring. I think it's planned in March. We have a couple of offers that we're checking at the moment, and hopefully we can announce an American tour very soon.
Hopefully you come to St. Louis or close. Well, I'll either Tennessee or Chicago, and I'm going to drive to it. But it's just something, like I said before, I've always wondered, because, like I said, like I've asked, it's you guys tour big cities and stuff like that, but we've always wondered why certain cities get skipped, and I think there's a reason why. It's just because it's not in the budget, to do it.
It's a lot of long drive, and then you also have to see, certain cities, they will always have more fans because the metal scene is bigger. So when you play like in Los Angeles or when you play in certain cities like on the East Coast, like New York or what else is good? Like some Florida cities are really busy normally. So the booking agent tries to put you where it's strong. So and there's something we usually don't know. It's up to the agent. It's up to the demand of the agent and the local promoters, and we try to play everywhere, but basically we depend on what the local within. And that's usually major markets. It's Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore. It's the Texas cities, and of course California, and America is just too fucking big. You have to do several tours basically to go everywhere. And thrash metal is not the trend of the day. So it's not so easy for a European band to tour America. But we actually had a lot of successful tours in the last years where we didn't lose money and stuff. So that's actually a big thing, because everything has changed in the last years. Also in the States, it's more expensive to tour. The gas prices, as you know, have reached a high that was never before. So I remember back in the day, it was very easy to tour in America because the gas was almost for free for us Europeans. Now the gas is also expensive in America, and there's long ways to drive. So it's not as easy as people think sometimes. There's really a lot of American bands. They tour in a van. They go buy a van and then they tour the whole year in the States. And at the end of a couple of those tours, they usually quit because they can't stand each other anymore. Because living in a van for a couple of months kills you.
Absolutely. What do you guys got planned for the rest of this year?
This year we're gonna start with a tour in Europe with Overkill and Flotsam and Jetsam in September.
Right.
And then we're gonna have a couple of festivals all over Europe in autumn. And beginning of next year, we have, I think we started with Asia. I think that's the plan. Starting with Asia in January. Then it will be Europe in February. And it should be America and Canada in March.
Okay. Cool, definitely. And then as far as the rest of next year, do you have anything? Do you plan out that far ahead, or do you just like, nah, we're just going to see what happens?
Yeah, it's also up to the demand. We usually try to plan as early as possible, and if promoters come up to us and ask for tours for next year, we definitely talk about it. And the earlier you book out your schedule, the better it is for the musician. Because then you have something to do. So we always try to catch the early bird, and there's a couple of other plans also. We still talk about this tour with Creator and Sodom and Tankard that we wanted to do, and hopefully it's going to happen in the next 2 years.
And I always see you on social media. How has social media changed the industry? Back in the day, you didn't have social media at all. Nowadays, everybody's got social media. How important is it to use social media, and how has it affected the band?
I think we grew up in the day where social media didn't exist, so of course it's a whole different vibe than the '80s. But it's fast, and you reach the fans, and for me, it has a lot of pluses. It's very good to reach the fans all over the world in a quick way. Of course, social media has a lot of negative effects, like the haters and the shitstorms and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a lot of work also for me. As a musician, there's so much stuff to do. It's a 24-hour job to do promo now that we do promo for the new album. It's for weeks and weeks we do nothing else than interviews and updates and videos for all the media side and stuff. And it's a lot of work, but it's so effective, and I mean it connects the world. So of course, social media is a great thing, But of course, back in the day, life was easy, But now you have Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp, and you're always reachable for everybody. So it's difficult to find a minute of freedom sometimes for me. But I like to be connected, and I like to be in touch with the fans also, and it's part of the job.
Absolutely. Well, the last question that I've got is, what are you currently listening to? What bands that are you kind of checking out?
Depends. If it's up to thrash metal, then I would say the next big thrash metal release that I really enjoyed and I listened to already is the new album from Suicidal Angels, a band from Greece. They play like old school thrash, and it's like a really fresh, cool album that sounds great. And I'm also working with a Swiss band called Burning Witches. They're kind of playing heavy metal. It's like an all-female heavy metal band. They play like old school metal.
Yeah.
Between Priest Maiden and Iced Earth, this kind of stuff. So I'm working with them, also producing them, and so I'm trying to stay connected with the scene. We also invite young bands, and we tour sometimes. In the States we toured with Magic Ritual, with Warbringer, with Havoc before. So I always keep an eye on the scene of bands that are upcoming and hot. And it's great to see that there's a whole new generation.
What is a band or music that you listen to that nobody knows? Nobody knows. That would never think the great Schmier would listen to. What would you listen to?
I think something that I listen to that maybe people would think I would listen to is maybe Frank Zappa. I think Frank Zappa was a genius guy, genius songwriter, crazy musical structures, insane lyrics. So I think Frank Zappa is something that is not very metal that I really enjoy.
It's awesome, definitely. Well, I wish you nothing but success. We made it through the storm. Like I said before, I interviewed you last time for your other band, and this album, like I said, what I've heard of it is just absolutely amazing. Where can everybody get it? When's it's not out yet, is it not? Or
no, it's not out yet. It's coming on the 9th of August. 9th of August, which is basically just a few weeks away. And you can keep up on our social media site, on Official Destruction, on Instagram, or on the Destruction Facebook page also. We have a lot of updates at the moment. There's a lot of videos coming out, interviews, visualize a video, which is our guitar playthrough for the song Betrayal. So if you want to stay updated with the new album, they can do that on the social media sites. And we also will have a third video single coming out at the day the album comes out, on the 9th of August. Will be another video and another single coming out called Inspired by Death.
Cool, awesome. Well, thank you for doing the interview. Hopefully one day I'll be able to meet you in person. And you have many fans here in St. Louis, Missouri, just like throughout the world. So Thank you, and be safe on the road. And I can't wait for the new album to come out fully and get the full impact of Destruction.
All right. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for the interview, and hopefully you're going to be back in St. Louis for some great rips.
Hopefully so, dude. Hopefully.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. Take care.